Well. And we're live!
They happen at the same time. It's all that matters.
I know. I may have to shed this jacket because it's a little warm. But, yay!
Let's make sure we're up on Facebook.
Are we up?
Oh.
What? It says we are.
Are we on your part? Nope, we're good.
Nope. It should be us.
Yep, we're up, we're up.
Has anybody jumped? Nope, I don't think anybody's on yet.
That's all right. We'll give them a second.
We'll give them one. We got one. That's probably you.
Cool. Yep, and I got us on the Instagram as well.
Really? Where do you see that? Oh, that's you.
Yeah.
Oh. So, anyways, as people are more and more people are jumping on. So, as we get going, we're going to be talking about fall because we're going into fall, and we're going to be talking about how we fall out of the outside and fall into the inside.
Yeah, literally.
Well, at least for Midwestern and Eastern states. California, maybe not. So, we're also going to be talking. I'm wearing my John Deere hat because it's harvesting season.
Oh, I forgot to switch my hat. I did have a camel hat on.
Yes, you did.
I'm slacking.
Yes, so now we have two. So, for some reason, my tablet's not showing me again. Who's all here?
Hi, Mom.
Is it mine?
Yep.
Swipe left for comments? Okay, well, so people are popping on, and my mom just jumped on. I'm so excited. And I'm excited to say that we're going to see her in a couple of weeks.
It's going to be nice for you.
I don't get to see her that often because we live so far away from each other, but I'm going to get to see her. I can't wait. So, Steve should be jumping on here soon. And we got a few people coming on Instagram as well, so we're going to give people a few seconds.
Yeah.
I'm excited about next week's show.
It's going to be really fun.
So we have a guest next week, and we'll get more into that at the end of the show. I don't want to say who it is yet. This person is launching their own show, and it's a media person that you've all heard of. Well, Michigan and this region has, and soon the entire country and world will hear from her. So I'm excited about that, and she's announcing it here.
It's going to be really nice and
She's
very
announcing
exciting.
it here. I'm excited about that.
New people, new faces.
Yes, it's fun. So, we're going to give it a couple of seconds just so that other people can jump on, and then we will get going. So much fun. We got these cool... So, she got to spend the day hanging Halloween things and doing stuff, and we got some really cool ones, but we're not talking about Halloween, even though Halloween's around the corner. So, how are we doing here?
Anybody jumping on?
Share this live video with others so they can watch too. What does that mean?
So, like, if I were to press share, I can send it to people on my Instagram.
Just send it to them?
Just so they
I'm
know
still
that we're
learning.
live.
It's crazy.
Oh, nice.
What?
Hi, Margaret.
Well, hello, Margaret.
Yep.
Maggie. I'm going to call you Maggie.
Yep, we said it at the same time.
I think Maggie's a fabulous name. So, Margaret, it's nice that you joined us. My mother is on, and we've got quite a few people on here. Well, we did. They disappeared, but that's okay. So we're going to be talking about fall.
And honestly, I think my favorite thing about fall is the hundreds of thousands of different cookbooks that there are available. Like the one that I have in my hand is Pillsbury's Cooking Guide for Camping.
So the reason that we have chosen this corner to talk about is because, and fall is because, you know, as it gets colder here in Michigan and in the Midwestern states, we take all of our outside activities and move them inside, right? So we're going to talk about different things as we go into the holidays. We are going to be traveling to see family and how we can entertain the kids and the people in the car when they travel. We're going to be talking about indoor games.
Absolutely.
Like board games, even though we're not going to delve deeply into board games because we'll have a show where we play board games, maybe. That'll be fun.
We're also going to be talking about things that you can do when expecting or preparing for guests and family to come over.
Yep.
We're also going to be talking about the breakdown and things that you can use when it comes to packing up your leftovers or any leftover goodies, dinners, lunches, from here on out.
Yeah, because as you can see behind Jasmine here, we have our Tupperware display. And Tupperware comes in very handy when you are taking home leftovers or you are packing something to take to Grandma's house or to a friend's house for Thanksgiving or just for the weekend or whatever.
Yep.
So are cake carriers necessary? Are these big containers necessary? Yes, they are, even though they're hard to store.
I also found a fun fact that for cupcake carriers, you're supposed to flip it over and then put the lid on it, and it keeps your cupcakes more sturdier. And I never knew that. It's like hard to explain. I would have to have it like in front of me.
I think I know what you're talking about.
like you flip it over and it makes the cupcakes more secure so they're not like touching.
Right.
Like, you know how people have like the tray inside of it and you put the lid on and then the frosting touches it?
Right.
They say you put it on first and then put the lid on so that nothing touches. It's very smart. It's a very smart Tupperware. I was watching it at Old School Tupperware. So
Oh, really?
cool. Yes.
Oh, that's cool. I wonder if we have it.
I think we might have sold it. I think it's sold.
That could be. So we're also going to talk about what to do in those inclement weather times when you lose your power. And we have winter storms coming. And how you can use vintage and antique things to actually light your
Save
house.
your life.
Light
Honestly.
your house. Still make coffee. Do stuff like that. Because when you are dealing with your power going out, guess what? You're stepping back in time. Every time your power goes out, you step back in time.
You literally have to find your matches, your candles. How are you going to heat things up?
So exciting. So shall we start?
Absolutely.
All right. First, I'm going to start with some facts about then we're going to start with some facts about fall and in general. Okay. I don't know if we're too far away or not. So, who is that saying that? You two are filled with information. Love it. Well, thank you. So I spent a little information, or let me tell you a little bit, a little history on me with my training and stuff. And when I talk and learn about stuff, I was a district trainer for Bed Bath & Beyond for too many years to count. So they took me through classes right and left. I could literally be a teacher. Plus I stand and I teach classes in MAD. So I'm constantly teaching, and one of my passions is knowing as much as I can about everything around me.
Honestly, Sam.
And then teaching you about it, because I enjoy doing that.
And I think being able to work here has taught me a lot. I learn a lot of new things every day that I work. But I also feel that I was grateful enough to have a little bit of knowledge because my parents are a little bit older as well. Mm-hmm. And you guys asked me one question during my interview.
What was that?
And you asked me, where was Nelson the Frog? Where was he made from? And I looked at you and said, Sears, of course.
See?
And you and Steve looked at each other and was like, oh, I can't believe you got it right.
Yes, because, so, when we're talking about, like, Mary Mushroom,
yes,
or we're talking about stuff like that, everybody knows it's Sears. But when you're talking about Nielsen the Frog, which is this guy here.
And he's so cute.
I don't know if I can bring it over enough for you guys to see without taking it off. Oh, no, they can't.
But he's so cute.
Anyways,
I'm sure
I'll post Nielsen.
Like.
Google it. You'll see what it is. So, fall was harvest. But one thing I thought was interesting was it wasn't called fall. We in America and westernized England are the only ones that call it fall.
Yes.
Every other country calls it autumn. And we shortened the season that leaves fall from the tree to fall back in the 1800s, so 1700s. So I thought that was interesting.
America has a really good way of words and making them different.
Yeah, like, but I use fall. Like, autumn is hard to say.
Well,
sometimes.
We took the legitimacy of leaves falling and was like, we're just going to call it
fall. We're just going to call it fall. And that's what happened, and now it's called fall. But I thought that was pretty cool. And because I did an autumns versus fall and what the wording meant. And it's the same thing. It's just autumn goes back much further. And orange and black. Why do you think that they picked orange and black for fall, for Halloween and stuff like that?
Personally, I would say black because it's dark and it represents spookiness and it gets dark out earlier. Mm-hmm. And I would say orange because that's probably the first color we see when the leaves start to lose their chlorophyll.
Very good. It's pumpkins.
Oh, okay.
Pumpkins are orange, but actually that is it's the color of the leaves, so.
I was trying to take it very literally like how we did with fall, but I guess we dumbed it down a little bit.
No, fall, so the reason being was they used orange because of the fall colors, and because pumpkins are a standard fall item, so they used it, and black because of the fact that it's dark and spooky. That was exactly right. I thought that was kind of interesting that you got that right on the butt.
Does our viewers know that a pumpkin is actually considered a fruit?
If they watched our last show, they do.
Then you would know that.
Yes. So, anyways, let me show you some stuff. So let's talk about what happens when the power goes out, because I think that is one of the scariest things, is when you, especially during a snowstorm and stuff, how many times have you gone to the power has gone out and you have to use the restroom, so you go to the bathroom and you carry a candle in there with you, and then you realize, oh, I can't leave the candle in here because, I have a cat or whatever, so I've got to take the candle out with me. Well, we can erase that ability for you, because if you remember correctly, electricity did not come into worldwide use until the late 1800s, right? The mid to late 1800s. So what do you think that they did to light up their houses prior to that? Anybody can tell me online? What did they use to light the homes prior to electricity?
I'm trying to hide these behind your back.
I know. So, anyone?
I wish we could play the what is it?
The Jeopardy?
Yes, Jeopardy, yes.
That's probably trademarked.
I don't let me not sing it out loud.
No, you're fine. But, so oil lamps, right? So I think it's important that we all have a couple oil lamps in the house, because we have these 2 little oil lamps, and honestly, you can light these and they will stay lit for hours. And these are good because you've put the oil down here, and you can buy the oil at any craft store. Michael's has it, and so does what's the other one? Joann's. So does Joann's. You can buy the oil from in there. You pour it in here, and these have wicks, and you light the wick, you put the candle on it. You don't have to worry about it falling over and burning something up.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for these little glass roses that are on here.
I know, aren't they cute?
They're very cute.
So as we enter fall, as we enter winter, because when it's warm outside and you lose power, you can go outside. Who are you waving to?
David finally clicked on.
Oh. When it's warm outside, you can go outside. You know what I mean? And you can sit in your car. And so when it's freezing outside, no, not so much.
But now...
So those are the little ones, right? Those are the little ones. So now I'm going to tell you, this is a larger one that you could have. You could keep something like this in your restroom and leave it lit. That way you always have light, and you can go in there and you can go to the bathroom. You can do whatever you need to do. And you don't have to worry about, the cat running by it and knocking it over.
Or touching it with their tail.
Or touching it with their tail and catching them on fire. Or
I think my favorite thing is that this is covered.
Right.
So literally a curtain would have to be shoved in there for it to catch fire.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And, we talk about getting generators for our houses, but we all don't have them. And electric candles, you're still...
Expensive.
Huh?
Generators are expensive, and
They
candles
are.
can become expensive
Well,
too.
electric candles, you've got battery-ish. So if you don't keep your batteries up, then you run out of electricity.
And then who wants to
Electric
buy
candles.
a bunch of candles, because if you have 14 candles lit in your house to keep it light,
It gets hot.
That, and also you have 14 fragrances going on.
Also, with something like this, when you light up a candle in your house, you've got 100 candles all around, because you've got one little flame, right? One little flame. And you got a bunch of candles around, so it increases the heat of the house, which in the winter is good.
It's good.
But and in the summer these are good to have too, because it increases the heat of the house. The others, but this is a much larger flame in one container.
So you don't need to have 5 in one room.
So you don't need to have 5 in one room. You can literally set this down in the kitchen and have just it in the kitchen. But these are phenomenal to have. We have a few of them sitting around in our house that we use when the power goes out, and it literally lights up a whole room, one will. So it gives you enough light to read by, it gives you enough light to do little things around the house by, while the power's out.
I think it's cute.
And I think it's important to let our kids know, and when I refer to kids, I mean 30 and under, because I'm getting up there, that these are good options other than candles when you run out of power. So one of the other things is, if you have a fireplace in your house, or you have an electric stove, not electric, if you have a gas stove, you can still turn your gas stove on when the power's out and get the flame. You just may have to light the flame. So you need to have countertop coffee makers, something that you can still make coffee in that does not require electricity, which is something like this. As you see, this sets directly on your burner, and the flames will heat it up. Or you could literally take something flat, put it in your fireplace, and use it as a cooktop, and set this on top of it so that you can have some hot coffee.
Or, I have an even better idea as well. Can't believe I didn't think about this.
What?
We don't have one available. But if you...
A cast iron pan.
That... Or, which is a really good idea.
Yeah, because you can cook that way too.
If you are into vintage and old-timey pieces, you more than likely have an old fondue pot. So it probably has the holder that you set the pot on. Well, you could just put that on top.
Oh, you absolutely could, and put a candle under it. Absolutely.
And I would say that I would know
to keep
that
it warm.
Exactly, and I would know if you're a person who has a percolator, you probably have an old school fondue pot, so you probably have that to go with it.
Absolutely. So there are ways of maintaining daily life while without electricity, and we need to educate our younger society on these, because the world's not going to come to an end if we have electricity. For some, it will. But cast iron pans. Go grab a cast iron pan. Cast iron pans. Stick them in the oven. You can cook in the oven on them. So when it's, we here in Michigan and on the East Coast, for those of you on the West Coast that follow us, in the early 2000s, we had a power outage for weeks. Took out the whole grid. So we had to live off grid for weeks. Could you do that today? Could you do that today? These are the things you need in order to have, how Dad always tells you, you need to have a blanket in the car, you need to have, a donut wheel in the car, not a donut wheel, but,
like cat litter in case
cat
you get
litter,
stuck,
stuff like that.
Out.
These are the essentials that every home should have when the power goes out. So a coffee pot that does not require, because not only can you do coffee in this, but you can do tea.
100%.
You could do cider. Any type of hot beverage could be done in this. And if you want cold, you pour something cold and you stick it in the snow.
Literally.
But these are the things that the houses need to have. And a couple of cast iron pans, because if you put a Teflon pan over an open flame, either on your stove for a long period of time or in the fireplace, it's gone. It's
the handle's gone. The bolts are done.
So if you're going to cook in your fireplace, or you're going to use the open flame because of the fact that you need to maintain daily life during an electrical outage, these are the things you want. So if you want to know what to get your kids who just bought a house for Christmas, these are the things to get. Come in and we'll walk you through it. Your home necessities. We talk about your car necessities. These are your home necessities.
We also do have large varieties of silverware as well. If your children are moving out and you're looking to get them like a, what did my mom call it? A hope chest started. We also have lots of those. This would be perfect. You put it back over here?
Yeah. And then you can do a did you know if you want.
Oh, okay. Wow, Jason has the second part of this did you know, because they're the same thing but a little bit different. They're just old folk tales that came from two completely different places. Mine came from Austria. Where's was yours from?
What are you talking about?
The apples.
Oh, England.
Okay, so his came from England. Mine comes from Austria. And
so this is a good idea. This is a good lesson in the fact that every country is slightly different.
Even though they have similarities, they're all different.
Yeah.
So mine is that this comes all the way back into the 1700s in Australia when Halloween came around. If you were single and you were looking for a partner, whether that be male or female, you would write their name on an apple, you would kiss it, take a bite, and throw it over your left shoulder. And in hopes by the end of the night, that person just mysteriously finds you. You guys live happily ever after.
What if you hit the person in the head with the apple?
That makes it even better, right?
Okay, so it's along the same lines. Because bobbing for apples started out as a courting ritual, and that would have been similar to a courting ritual.
Yep.
And how it became a Halloween game is interesting. But bobbing for apples, and by the way, I tried to look for them, but we have them. The big, huge
barrels.
Yes, the anodized aluminum barrels that you can put the water and the apples in. We have them here, so if you're having a Halloween party, come on in. We have 2 of them. They work perfect. They're huge, though. You can bathe a baby in it. So in England, this is about the pumpkin that I need to talk about. In England, what they would do is they would line up the men, they would line up the women, and then the men would choose an apple, or they would be assigned an apple, and that man would go and drop his apple into the bucket. The men would in line. And then the women would have to go bob for those apples and find the apple that related to the person they wanted to be with or were with. So, which is interesting because how can you tell when your head's in the water? How can you tell you're getting the right apple?
How would you even see?
Do they each have different color apples?
Ooh, that could be.
There are, what did it say? 6,000 different types of apples in the world, so there could be different apples for each, but how do you know? Do you know by taste?
Honestly, I think I love how the world works in mysterious ways because... Oh, they said both late, sorry. I randomly just found this pamphlet of apples, and you say that there's over like 7,000
There's
apples
a ton.
There's literally a whole list, and there's an apple called a Rome Beauty that is slightly tart yet firm, and...
So I wonder if these women had to like go through classes on what these apples taste
It could
like.
be.
And why are the women only bobbing for them?
Honestly, here's a tip for our viewers. If you guys are having a Halloween party and you're doing bobbing for apples, but let's just say grandma over here doesn't want the apples to go to waste at the end of the night, if you take your apple and place the slices as they're peeled in a pan of cold water and add a pinch of salt, they won't yellow at all.
They won't yellow at all.
No, if you put it in cold water, sprinkle lemon juice and salt on it.
That's good to know
Yeah.
in general. And also a little tidbit, since we're talking about harvest season, which is what fall, autumn used to be called prior to fall and autumn, never store bananas next to anything at all. Because bananas like to share their flavor.
Nice. Honestly,
So,
that's so true.
If you put a banana next to an apple and you take a bite of the apple the next day, it's going to taste like the banana.
Yeah, and if you put it in a smoothie, it beats up every other
Yeah,
fruit.
bananas like to share their
Wow, that's
flavors.
crazy.
Because if you notice when a banana goes black and it's sitting next to something, something it's sitting next to is starting to change color.
That makes so much sense.
So never
much
store your bananas with anything else other than bananas. So David thinks he'd find your apple, so now it's going to be a challenge.
Like, if you have glasses,
So now
you're
it's
for
going
sure
to be
not
a
finding
challenge, and I'm
For
going to
sure.
create it, and all of it, Time Warp employees and their significant others have to bob for apples.
You better find the apple.
No.
If you don't, I'm being taken away.
No, I'm kidding. I just think it's funny because I've only bobbed for apple once in my
Me
entire
too.
life, and I think I was maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was like 8 years old.
It's so funny because we play a game where we stick our head in water and bob for apples, and then we go and we eat a turkey for dinner. Those of you who are not vegans or vegetarians, and did you know a turkey is the dumbest animal in the world? It actually, when I was younger, they took us to a turkey farm in school just to see the turkeys and stuff. And they do not leave water out for turkeys.
Why?
Because turkeys drown themselves when they drink. So they control the amount of water they get. So turkeys will forget to breathe. And they will drown themselves. And so I thought that was interesting. But did you know that only male turkeys gobble?
I know that now.
Yeah, only males do. And they're called gobblers.
That's so hilarious.
Hobnobble gobbler. So it's a gobbler. Whereas female turkeys do not gobble.
I hope.
And they are called chicks. Chicks?
Clucks.
Clucks or hens.
And I remember because I said
Chicks,
the
clucks, or hens. And I just think it's funny.
I want you to tell your coach that you said that tongue twister. Nobble
gobble. I'm actually with her tomorrow, so it's hilarious.
That was hard.
And you know what she's going to say to me? That's an easy one. Do this one.
That one was
because
hard.
the last one she gave me that
was
you
hard.
had to do, that I asked her to
It
do
like-
to see if she could do it. She couldn't do it. She did it.
It wasn't even like a tongue twister. It was like the words made saliva collect in your cheeks. So at the end,
You were talking like you had a speech impediment. But, so, craziness. Love it.
I love it. I love it.
So, go ahead.
What's your favorite part about Thanksgiving?
About Thanksgiving? So, I'm always wondered why we put so much time and energy into cooking meals that last 15 minutes. It's always blown my mind that way, but I do enjoy the meals, don't get me wrong. My favorite part, I think, about Thanksgiving is... Oh, that was my voice coach. She's now yelling at me, probably.
I was going to ask her if she was watching.
So, anyways, and she's fabulous at what she does. So, and I'm not just saying that because you're watching. I wouldn't have asked her to do it if she wasn't.
Well, your mom is watching, so hopefully your mom can hear me and can type this in. What is a family tradition that, like, you guys have brought down that you say?
We don't really have one.
No?
No. I was not always home for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So, I was not the best child growing up.
I feel that.
So, that's a tough one. Mom, if you can think of something, I don't know if I've been at home at all for a Christmas or a Thanksgiving since I was younger because I live so far away. And I own a retail store, so getting there during the holidays is very difficult.
For sure.
One of these times I would love for her to come here, but I think we're going to be going there this year, right before Thanksgiving, and we'll have Thanksgiving. Just, I think, being together would be nice.
Absolutely.
It's the first time close to Thanksgiving that we're actually doing it.
That'd be nice.
So, yeah, I was not the best of child. I was always with friends and never at home.
I felt that, me too.
So, what else? What else do we have? So, we have back here the Tupperware, and as you can see, and the reason I want to talk about Tupperware so much is we're talking a lot of cooking. I know that Steve does a lot of cooking during the fall because we're indoors, and cooking is part of getting us ready for the holidays, right? So between the Pyrex that we have, the Tupperware is essential. And today's Tupperware, I don't know the quality of it as well as I do the older Tupperware, but those burping lids, you have satisfaction over the tops being left on. She says I was home for the holidays, but I can barely remember yesterday. But we don't really have one. We just ate. You know what? We had rice.
Rice?
And to this day, I cook rice in a rice cooker because my mom did, and it was easy.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
I always now buy a nut-covered cheese ball.
A nut-covered cheese ball? I buy those every day.
Well, my grandma,
I eat those every day.
I always thought they were gross. I never knew that it was cheese, so I never wanted to touch it as a little kid. But then my dad got one, and I had a piece, and was like, oh, this is what Grandma's been buying all these years?
I'm going to tell you, those little cheese nut balls, those are dangerous.
I know that now as an adult.
And there's probably nothing even food-related in it.
No, it's just cheese covered with almonds.
Did you know that Swanson made their first TV dinner because they used the Thanksgiving dinner as an inspiration for Swanson's to create the TV dinner.
Nice.
Because to make it easy for those who had to work during Thanksgiving.
Holidays and stuff.
Yes. So you can thank Swanson on why we're all fat.
Honestly.
Because processed food does not break down as easily. So talk about pumpkins for a minute, and then we'll get back over here. This is something stunning that I had no idea about. Did you know that pumpkins, first of all, are good for humans? They're good for your immune system. But I'm going to tell you right now, a pumpkin is a superfood for a dog. And I never knew that. Meaning, anytime a dog wants something from the pumpkins, then give it to them. Actually, the article stated that when you carve your pumpkins, throw it in the dog dish. They won't eat the seeds, they'll spit them out. But they'll eat all the rest. So this is what they do for you, for your dogs. They're good for their tummies. Mm-hmm. They'll settle their tummies. They're a natural dewormer. Mm-hmm. They will control constipation and diarrhea in a dog. And they are good for their coat and their skin. It's a superfood. In the article, it states all dog food should have pumpkin in it because it's a good filler and it's good for them, and no dog food has it that I know of.
Because it's expensive.
That may be, but how much of it do we throw away during Halloween?
Big brands.
Well, let me tell you. 260,000 tons of pumpkins go unused after Thanksgiving.
That's honestly so scary to hear that, because you know how many things you can do with your pumpkin after the fact?
Pumpkin is like a squash. It can be turned into anything.
You can literally smash it up into a gazillion pieces and just leave it on your grass, and it will literally fertilize your grass.
It will. And it's probably good for your birds and for
I was
the
going to
squirrels
say it's going to feed the squirrels,
like
the birds. You won't have to worry about it throwing it away and it ended up in a landfill and rotting in the landfill.
Right.
Also, if you're like David and I, and if you buy a pumpkin and leave it on your porch and forget to carve it, keep in mind I live in Warren, guys. I woke up last Halloween.
It was carved by the squirrels, probably.
No, a deer was on my front lawn eating it.
See, every time we do a pumpkin and we get all like, oh, we're going to put pumpkins out and stuff like that, because we don't carve them, we just set them out. Mm-hmm. Usually we'll wake up the next morning and they're fully carved by the local squirrel.
But I live on 9 Mile, and for there to be a deer on my front lawn eating a pumpkin, I literally was rubbing my eyes and was like, am I seeing things?
Actually, friends of ours just bought a house in Waterford, and the very first picture they did was a deer in their front yard. Yep. So, deer are more out and open because they're hunting for food.
But how did it end up on 9 Mile?
there's probably a family that lives in one of the bushes areas or the big tree lined areas.
It just took a train over here.
Oh, look, there's more oil lamps.
Oh, cute.
Look, there's tons of little oil lamps you can have. Okay, so let me tell you. Yes, we did. We went to Rhode Island for Christmas once to my stepfather's family, and he comes from a very big Italian family. So we get there, and it was great. It was, I mean, I tried, I think that's when I tried oysters for the first time or something. Anyways, never, let me tell you right now, if you're going to in-laws for your, yes. Okay, it's all coming back to me. So, if you go to in-laws, if you go to your grandparents, whether it's step-grandparents or real grandparents, or not real, step-grandparents or birth grandparents, never ask for ketchup on your food, on your oysters, because it didn't go over very well in a very Italian household. And I like oysters a lot, but I like ketchup on them, which is odd. And I asked for ketchup while we were there, and I thought he was going to have a heart attack at the front of the table. However,
ketchup,
best food ever. Yes, but that's why today I like oysters and clams, is because I think that's the first time I tried it, or when we lived in Hawaii. I'm not sure. I can't remember. And then, when we lived in California, we went to my grandparents' house in Hawaii after we moved back. So there are things we did. I just lose track of my mind.
Same.
So
much happens and I just forget.
Right? It's craziness. Okay, what else are we talking about? So, we're going to grandparents' house, right? We're going to talk about those too. So, let's talk about when we go on those trips, okay? And how are we going to keep the kids, see, all sorts of aprons.
Honestly, this is very cute. I love the pattern.
Isn't that cute?
I just want to show it to them because it looks like Barbie. Like Barbie pattern. Look at that. I feel like this would make me want to cook if I had like a cute apron.
And we have all sorts, as you can see here.
Yeah, this is cute.
All of our linens and,
I like
and
the Ziggy
aprons.
One too.
Yep.
Ziggy's so cute.
Ziggy is a good one.
It
we
says
have
you
all
complain
kinds.
because roses have thorns. You can be grateful because thorn bushes have roses. Aw, honestly,
sweet.
that's so cute.
And then here's your drive home.
Heck yeah, good old cinnamon broom. Fun fact, if you place a cinnamon broom next to your front door, it will ward off unwanted negativity, and it will also bring in good financial stability.
And when the Sanderson sisters visit, they'll have a ride.
Yeah, literally.
Rather than driving on... We just watched that the other night. So, we do have these. These are great for fall decorations to put out with your haystacks and your pumpkins and stuff. They're good. It still smells. It still smells. Yes. So, so we are going on those trips, and we are going to go on a 4-hour drive to grandma's, to friends, to relatives. And how do we keep the kids in the back seats calm? How do we keep ourselves busy when we're on those long drives, right? Well, here we have some stuff. Car games.
Nice.
Car games, meaning that these are different games that you can play while on traveling. We have a whole wall of them over there, vintage games. Now this is dominoes and cards, of course, and it has all the different things in them. And as you can see,
nice.
It's got it all nice and tucked in here, and the board is on top. And you can play cards, you can play backgammon, not backgammon, dominoes, you got your dice. And these are great to take along on these long road trips because it will keep the kids from screaming. Here we have chess and checkers, and they're not expensive at all. And these are cool because everything is kept inside. We have these behind the counter, of course, but everything is kept inside. And this is a nice one. This is Magic Chess. It's magnetic, so it doesn't break apart in cars. So these are great on those long drives, or you have no electricity.
And you don't even have to worry about the cardboard box smashing up or getting ripped because it's all in its own carrying box.
Right. And, you know, we're entering in the season of board games, of all sorts of stuff. Isn't that tic-tac-toe cool?
Heck yeah, it is.
Isn't it?
What? This is sick.
Show 'em.
This would literally, I feel like this would cause so many fights if you had physical tic-tac-toe. Like, this is honestly hilarious to me. And then, I don't know what game is underneath here. If you guys know what it is, please.
Let me see. Oh, that's, Mahjong? No, this might be tic-tac-toe.
Well, here's the X's and O's.
Oh, then I don't know what that is. Oh, that might be kind of like dominoes, maybe, or Chinese checkers.
Yeah, if anybody in the comments knows what this game is that comes with these little metal balls, which I'm assuming go on the bottom of this, please let me know because I'm very curious. And it's a very cute box.
Isn't that cute? And these are good for when those nights that we have storms as well, or you just don't want to be
spending money or
glued.
anything, yeah.
Or like, you know, you need to break from media, right? So who can tell me what this is? Mom, I know you can, so don't answer.
I don't know the name of the game.
Who can tell me what this is?
I'm familiar.
So I'm going to tell you a story. I know how to play this. My grandmother in Hawaii she loved this game. And so this game is, I'm looking, nobody knows. This is cribbage.
Cribbage.
Okay, cribbage can last 1 second or 1 minute, or it can last 7 hours. So my grandmother was very good at cribbage, and she loved to play. So every time I went over there, I would play cribbage with her. She'd always win. But these are great for, you can play in the car, because there's no dice, there's no nothing. You play with cards, and you play with the two little sticks that keep score. Or you take them to grandma's and the kids can play this, or the people can play this. Grandma might even want to play it. But it's a fun game. So we have a whole bunch of these. This one is, this actually has the person it is burned into the wood, so he made it. Isn't that hilarious? But you use these little tiny things here. I know, I love Mom, we should play when we're there next month.
I just came across the holy grail.
What's that?
Of Thanksgiving trays. You guys, this is honestly so nostalgic to see, and I really wish we still had Farmer Jack's. This is called the Detroiter Chicken and Rib Tray. Okay, so this is specifically if you are a person who's having a party, having families over, and you don't have time to cook. You go to Farmer Jack's and you get one of these party trays. I will show you the picture, but I just have to read you the description. The Detroiter Chicken and Rib Tray. It's a great combination, attractively arranged for a fantastic informal dining. It's ready to eat, so serve it cold or reheat the tray on its own, and you can serve your choice of famous sweet glaze or barbecue sauce. A regular serves 14 to 20 people, and a large serves 21 to 30 people.
How festive that looks.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
And the large has 63 barbecued baby back ribs, 21 plump chicken breasts, and 21 drumsticks.
That's a lot of meat.
Yes, now look at this picture. And I just love it because it's called the Detroiter.
Oh.
That's why I love it so much. And just look at all of the food up here, guys. Now you're meaning to tell me you get off work after a long day, forget you're having in-laws come over, and you go to Farmer Jack's and pick one of these up? They'll never know.
So, you can't go to Farmer Jack's and pick those up because there is no Farmer Jack's. However, you can go to Kroger and pick one up.
Oh my God, look at this. Party checklist.
See, that's what we need. Party checklist.
This is amazing. Mm-hmm. We're literally slacking. We're so behind on the times. It's literally a grocery list that you don't even have to write down. This is phenomenal.
That is really cool. And while she's in there cooking those meals,
yes,
you can sit in the other room and play the cribbage, the cards. We have all different kinds of card sets. And I say that because who doesn't like a card set? And we're talking two different things here. We're talking what you're doing when you're traveling to families or friends' home for the holidays, and what happens if we have inclement weather or we lose the ability for electricity. These are good. You play cards. You do all sorts of stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So everything we're talking about can be used both ways. It can be used on the way to families or friends' home, or
during or on the way back.
And while you have no electricity. What do you got there?
I found these very nice hors d'oeuvre picks, which I feel like these ones are very kitschy. They're reusable floral picks, which so cute.
And they go in these.
And if you're feeling a little bougie, you could get some ivory ones.
They're not real ivory. They're ivory color. Isn't that cool?
Very cute.
Can you open that?
Which one? This one?
This one.
Oh.
So this, and I've shown these to you before, because in the 50s and 60s, multiple use was great. This, you put a piece of cheese on it, and then you'd stick it in here, and then you would put it throughout the whole thing, and you sit it down, and people come and they take their toothpick with their cheese, or they take their toothpick and poke their cheese with it and eat
exactly.
it. So we have a whole bunch of these. These are great to sit around. Trust me. You have this sitting in your house and your guests come over. It's a conversation for 20 minutes.
100%.
It totally is.
And these are even fancier than normal ones because they're reusable. So you just literally give them a good little wash off and then you're going to use them again. Or if you're using dry goods, you don't even have to worry about washing them because these are non-porous materials, meaning they will not hold on to color or fragrance.
Nope. That they won't. So, trying to untie this to show. So I think that, look at this.
Very cute.
Isn't this cute? With the chicken, the apron, and I love it because it is cloth. It is like a towel.
Terry cloth.
Terry cloth. So it's easy to clean. And look at this. It's never been used. This is new old stock. It's got the original sticker here by Delu Cannon Terry, screen printed kitchen, made in the USA for easy living, all cotton.
We're matching.
She's got the peaches, and I have the chickens.
Heck yeah. It's fitting.
So, I was going to stay away from that because this just kind of happened, but... But anyways, so, but it adds... Look at that. Could you imagine wearing that during the holiday? Look at the color.
Guys, dinner's ready. Ding,
right?
ding.
And you get cranberry sauce or something on it. You just toss it in the wash.
Do you remember my fun fact about cranberry sauce?
What? Remind me.
You're supposed to open your can of cranberry sauce upside down because they package it upside down.
Yep.
And when you do open it upside down, it literally pops the air bubble on the top and the whole can will just come right out in one whole piece.
I can't believe we picked these without even thinking about it. Oh my goodness. So I brought some stuff over here because we are going inside, and there's some fun little vintage things that I wanted to show you. This is fun. Look at this. For those days that you're sitting at home watching sports on TV or whatever, that it's a little caddy for your armchair, so you can hold your remote and your TV guide. Do we still have TV guides?
Heck yeah, we got our TV
Okay.
guides.
So yeah, look, it holds your remote, your TV guide.
The beer goes in there.
It's got the beer goes in a
hilarious.
little car up top because I think it's mostly for like racing. It's a racer. Oh, it's called the Anchorman Racer. Hilarious. It's probably got the cup in there too. Isn't that hilarious? So something like, oh, look at this. 1990.
Nice.
I was 20 years old.
I was 0. Negative.
You were -8. No, -9.
This will literally cause a fight in my house.
This?
Yes.
So this, who doesn't like bingo?
Fun
A
fact.
bingo game during the holidays would be fantabulous as long as you're not in her house.
Yeah. David, fun fact, he didn't know that when you play bingo, you win money. He thought you won prizes.
No, you win money in like bingo places.
Yes.
But in my house, you would just win the ability to stay.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But do you do money? Here, hold this for a minute.
Do I hold money? Or do I do money?
Excuse me.
Bless you. Honestly, David, we should buy this because this seems like a really fun game. Just to make people play.
It's bingo. Who doesn't like bingo? You could add to that. You could. Whoever wins the bingo has to do the dishes. Whoever wins the bingo gets to pull the wish.
Or gets the last piece of turkey or whatever it may be.
Wishbone.
Pull the wishbone would be a good one.
Could pull the wishbone. You know, there's stuff like that. I mean, these are bring the family together.
And these are
friends together, or just make it a bunch of friendsgiving, and make it silly.
Because fun, competitive. Oh my gosh, this is from Toys R Us.
There was somebody watching us.
Was it really? This is from Toys R Us. Mm-hmm. They're making a comeback, and it's going to be called Jeffrey's Toy Box.
Yes, and it's going to be in the airports.
Really?
I read they're going to be in the airports, and they're going to They're going to put other stores out, but within other stores, like inside of a Walmart, I guess.
Sure. I guess it'd be like the cheapest way to save money.
Yeah.
But I personally, with me being 24 and having events that involve your friends as we're getting older, fun, easy, competitive games like this is a really good way from keeping people from getting bored and wanting to leave early.
Yes, and games like this will keep the kids entertained
100%.
while you're finishing cooking up dinner, while you're finishing cleaning up dinner, while the parents. Okay, so when I was a kid, and we're going way back into the 70s when I was single digits, my father we'd have Thanksgiving, or we would have Christmas or something like that with the family and all of our friends and everything. And then by 9 o'clock, our 6 and 8 year old, my brother and I, and my little brother was 1 by then, but we're told we had to go to bed at 9. And it used to make me so mad because I would lay in bed and I would hear them cooking other stuff, and I would hear them having games and doing parties and stuff like that.
Laughing.
So that's the only reason I ever wanted kids, was so that I could do the same thing to them.
LOL.
But that never happened. So we'll have a party, and then those who are, I don't know, I gotta figure out a way to make it work. Kick them out and make them stay there and watch through the window.
You guys just gotta sit in the driveway and
watch, right? But these are great because stuff like this, little stuff like this, even the magazines, the books, stuff like that, get them away from their tablets, get them away from their phones, get them away from the TV, put some books in them, put some, you know what I mean? Some fun games, something where they have to interact with each other.
Or maybe even start a new family tradition. And that could be something as simple as asking, or for our younger viewers that are a little bit around my age, when I go to my in-laws' house or when I go to like my other parts of my family, I'll ask my grandma, why does she use this ingredient instead of this ingredient when I know she could? Or why has Grandpa always...
Teach them.
Yes, why has Grandpa made stuffing the same exact recipe for the last 27 years?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that will make your grandparents or your aunts and uncles or cousins light up when you actually get to talk to them about their old family traditions that you now get to improvise in your life with your own family.
That's ideal.
Yes, absolutely.
That's ideal. Because this is about, we're entering into a season where it's about camaraderie. It's about a family. It's about talking. It's about interacting.
Giving. Being thankful for what you have.
Yes. And all because it is awful out there. And so, by doing these types of things, by having these games on hand, by encouraging them with kids 30 and under with positive, I played these when I was a kid, let's do it. Throw out the different answers.
100%. And improvising the fact that, especially when we start to get to the end of the year and we start to get to the more materialistic holidays, because I don't want to say Thanksgiving is a materialistic holiday.
No, but Christmas is.
100%. And I just like to instill that holidays don't have to be modernized and wealthy. They can be surrounded by old school, traditional values and views.
String that popcorn.
Yes, 100%. Or using Tupperware that is from the 90s, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to have...
Or 70s.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have a takeout meal prep set to put in your leftovers that's worth $700.
Right. You
can have a good Thanksgiving with vintage items.
Well, and I can guarantee you, because Steve and I have both had authentic Thanksgivings where they were cooked and everything. Steve cooked, and we had family get together and stuff. And then we've had where we order out. And I'm going to tell you that what we cooked was much better than ordering in the food. I've had people order in food and it not be cooked all the way, stuff like that. So you just want to be careful. And by cooking and using these types of things that you remember as a kid, will help to bond you guys together. So let's go over a few things. One, some of the essentials you need in your house and what every house should have for when the power goes out and you need, or even the not just the power, but you've lost your water, you've lost stuff like that. And we will do a show on essentials of a home.
Okay.
Because I think that there's a whole bunch more besides oil lamps, cast iron, and percolators that we need in a house in order to have everything ready for you if inclement weather happens and you lose all of your modern amenities. you should be able to live and act like they did in the 1800s and still maintain your daily life without too much of an interruption.
Social media has a really good way of making people feel like they're really behind because they're not stuck with modern times and buying the latest cookware.
Right.
And we're here to try to instill that you don't have to live life like that.
You don't.
And you can still live a happy, healthy lifestyle with vintage items.
Well, you need to have some of them.
100%.
Because if your power goes out, your microwave isn't working.
Right.
Your air fryer is not working. Your brand new $300 convection oven, guess what?
You hear.
It's not working. So having something as archaic as cast iron to use in your fireplace or to make a fire outside in like a bonfire area and cook over it is necessary.
Like we have the old toasters that literally look like everything but a toaster, and you lay your bread on it and put it over an open flame.
Yeah,
that
you
thing
do have
gets
those.
hot and heats your toast. Now, what are you gonna do when you have no power and you want to make toast? You can't.
Maybe we should consider doing shows where we're showing them how to use these things.
Yeah,
too.
that would be really cool.
Because when you sit there and I don't know about you guys, but I grew up with not just fathers, but fathers of my significant others and even moms for that matter, who you have to have all of these essentials in your car in case you break down. Well, it's the same thing for your home. You have to have essentials in your home in case you break down, meaning you lose all of your modern ability.
100%.
So that's why a percolating coffee maker is necessary, so that you can make coffee, tea, any hot liquid,
Soup,
cold
literally
soup.
anything.
You could put soup in here and set it over your stove. You could do that with your Pyrex too, because vintage Pyrex should go from open flame or from heat
I don't
to cold.
remember the exact name for these. But I also do
Oil
have
lamps.
a bunch of these.
What are you looking at? Oh, they're just trays that you can put sternos under or candles under so that you can set something to keep it warm.
Right, but if you didn't have this, how the heck are you going to heat up your pot?
Well, I'm going
or
to tell
put-
you, this is where we'll come in with this show, because if you have an air fryer that has
The
bucket,
bucket?
flip the bucket over.
Okay,
Flip the bucket over, set it out, put the candle under it, and you can set something on
that's a
top of
good
it.
idea.
There are ways, and we are going to do a show and show you tips and hints on how to do stuff in your house without modern electricity.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. So, every home should have an oil lamp in it. If not for anything else, but to keep in your bathroom, so that way you can use the bathroom without worrying about the candle. Every home. This is an essential that you should have. It will help you with lights. It will help you with less candles. And it does a larger area of light than a candle does.
100%.
Plus, I'm going to tell you, this burns a lot slower. So the oil in here will last weeks, whereas the candle will not.
Hours.
And then have something to entertain yourself with. Have the cast iron to cook on, have something to entertain yourself. Have it covered with board games in them. Have books there. I don't care if they are old books, new books. Trust me, you're bored enough, you're going to read
You're
it.
going to read.
You're going to read it. So these are the things that you want in your house, and we will elaborate more on those when we do our next show.
And I think that that's a really good topic for our next show. Because I know we were kind of
Yeah, okay, so
flip-flopping with what we want to
next
talk
show is going to have
special
a
guest.
The following show, which is Halloween, we are not going to be here. We are going to be running our Blow Mold rerun, as long as Facebook allows us to keep it up. Otherwise, it'll be Halloween rerun. They took down our Blow Mold.
Yes, you told me.
Yeah, because of
Copyright.
a copyright issue with one person. So, what else? Oh, did I do all my Did You Knows? I
I'm
don't
not
even know
sure.
where that all is. Over here. Okay, so I'm loving the idea of having a show of necessities in your home.
Oh, me too.
I'm loving that. And when I say necessities, I don't mean a new Wi-Fi connector.
Oh, right. We mean like
Something
actual
you can actually
necessities. Use.
Because and not only that, board games are going to be something that you should have in your house at all times, because even when you do have electricity and it is a Sunday afternoon and there's nothing on TV because we have 5,000 channels with nothing on them.
And we have 50 subscriptions that have
and nothing on them. You can play a board game because you're going to start talking to your family and get to know them again.
Board games are so fun, and I feel like they bring out a fun competitiveness in everybody, which will keep everybody laughing and entertained for a long time.
It will. So, there's 260,000 tons of turkeys left over after Christmas.
That's horrible.
260,000 tons of turkeys left over from Thanksgiving
Maybe
in
a
America.
small turkey than an extra large one.
Okay, so it's probably both.
Sure.
So stop it.
Fun fact.
Because that's a lot of dead turkeys that are going to waste.
To waste. Turkey is actually not what makes you sleepy. It's just the fact that we're all so gluttonous on Thanksgiving.
It's the tits remaining in a turkey that makes you sleepy.
Yeah, but that's also kind of a myth. You would need to eat like a whole turkey
Well, you
for
would
you
need
to get
to eat
sleepy.
like 5 of them.
Yeah. It's just the fact that our bodies are eating so much food.
Well, we shovel it in and we get exhausted.
And our body's trying to digest it all.
Why do you think mom doesn't eat? If she's cooking, or
She can't
dad
clean
if he's
afterwards.
cooking. Because they eat throughout the whole time and they're full by the time Thanksgiving comes.
Literally.
That's why I laugh, because it's this whole big thing of cooking and everything, and I get it, it's family, and then you eat and everybody leaves.
Yep. And then you don't see them again for the next 9 months.
I know, right? And then you have a mess to clean up. But if you do it right, you don't. So, one of the other things about this weather is the reason why when the days get shorter and the weather gets colder, we start seeing more birds in the air migrating home. They're going home. And one of the reasons that migrating birds are endangered, meaning that you cannot own one, you cannot sell one, you cannot keep one, you cannot do anything with them whatsoever, is because they are hundreds if not thousands of miles away from their little ones, or where they're going to have little ones, or where they're actually from. And they need to go back home. They're out collecting stuff and exploring, and they need to get back home so that they can process their winter.
Yep.
So that is one of the main things about the fall as well, is the migrating birds. Now, I know thousands of us hate the Canadian geese that are everywhere in Michigan.
They're just scary.
That block the roads when there's huge packs of them. But they are migrating birds, and guess what? You can't touch them.
It's a felony if you hit them.
Yeah, if you do anything with them. It's similar to an eagle, even though the American eagle is a lot more stringent, meaning that if you even have a feather, you're in trouble. But I just think it's interesting with the migrating birds, because we get a lot of people who come in and ask for ducks and ask for fat birds and stuff like that. And one of the reasons, when you walk into a house or into a store that sells taxidermy, you see 1,000 pheasants. You see hundreds of ducks, not migrating ducks, just standard ducks. And you see like turkeys and stuff like that, non-flight birds and stuff, because you cannot have a stuffed migrating bird. It's against the law. So you will never find those in here. And if you aren't sure, your best bet is like with rotten food. If you're in doubt, get it out.
Yep.
Because it's bad. And misconception, we had a couple of customers in that I wanted to point out on here is ivory. Ivory is illegal. 100% for us to sell, for us to buy, for us to evaluate. There is no value in ivory. Now, some are saying that you can sell bison tusk ivory, you can sell this and that. Yes, that may be so, but prove that came from a bison.
Right.
Because in order for me to sell that bison ivory piece, or whatever it is, I have to prove to the DNR or the DNC that we 100% can prove that that's what that came from. And I'm sorry, but that's impossible without DNA, and we're not a hospital. I cannot match a DNA. So ivory is not a possibility. We cannot give you any type of idea on price. We cannot sell it. We cannot buy it. You may be able to sell it to each other as a non-commerce sale, where it's an individual, but I cannot sell it. So that is the reason why we do not sell or buy ivory pieces. If you ask Steinway, the piano maker. They don't even make pianos with ivory keys anymore. Matter of fact, I believe they took all the ivory keys off from old pianos and replaced them.
Huh?
Because we were killing animals right and left for ivory.
For no reason.
All right.
We have lots of viewers on Instagram too.
Well, thank you guys for joining. And that was just one little tidbit. Remember, you need your essentials. What?
I'm just giggling at our little tirade. We just want.
I just want to tirade. So that's not a tirade. It's an education aspect because people don't understand that ivory laws change constantly. And in 2000, the fact that prior to 2000, we could buy and sell and appraise ivory scrimshaw that was 100 years or older with proof. In 2000, 2001, somewhere around then, they eliminated that. You cannot, it doesn't matter how old it is. It doesn't matter how old it is now. Anyways, so thank you for following. Next week, yay!
It's going to be so fun.
We are going to be introducing a new somebody here. We're going to be having a special guest, and I will be posting that tomorrow morning. I'm going to keep it quiet on who it is right now because it's up to her on when she wants to announce her shows.
So you guys will just have to wait till
So
Tuesday.
you will have to wait till Tuesday, or you'll see the ad tomorrow for the first ad of the show tomorrow. We will have a slightly different format next week. And I'm so excited. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for us having her here. She is a well-known name. You all know her. And not from here. You know her from
somewhere else.
Media World. So I'm excited. So pay attention and watch because you're going to want to see who it is.
Be there, be square.
Be there, be square. Remember, Halloween, October 31st is a Tuesday. We will not be on. And then maybe we'll do our first show in December on essentials you need for your home.
I think that sounds great.
I like that idea.
Me too.
So if you guys can think of anything that is a requirement to have at home, if all of our modern conveniences go away, please send them to us and we will use them online or on the air during the show because we're always learning.
Always, constantly.
Always learning.
Trying to upgrade our life.
Not one person on this earth knows everything.
Nope.
We all learn.
We can try pretty dang hard to make us one of them.
A weapon, David says. Honey, anything is a weapon.
Honestly, if you can swing hard enough.
If it's necessary, anything can be a weapon. But I will let Jasmine take over.
We're still active on Facebook, Instagram, and this will be up tonight on Facebook.
And I just posted a lot on Threads.
So tomorrow, this will be available on YouTube, but we're still actively going through Threads. So if you're active on there, make sure you're swinging by and following us at Time Warp LLC. But as far as next Tuesday goes, we have a really good surprise guest, and we can't wait to share it with you guys.
Yay!
Yay!
Have a good night, and we will see you then.
Yep. Bye.